grouchy nerd. Alright, you antisocial weirdos, it's time to revisit a game that plays at the ideal player count. 1. Obsession, Upstairs Downstairs, designed by Dan Halligan. Now, we've already covered the solo mode and the base game of Obsession. Upstairs Downstairs adds new tiles, new gentry, a whole new family for you to play, as well as new types of workers. But even better than that, it comes with an entirely new way to play it solo. The Solo Estate Challenge. Now, if you're someone who is maybe put off by the luck element in the base version solo mode, this may be the one for you to check out. I personally really like the base version solo mode, but I love this solo mode. Your turns are going to work mostly the same, except there are no theme cards, no courtship rounds, and no Fairchilds. It's all about your estate and the improvements that you make to it. Now, being that this is an expansion and there is a whole other video, I'm going to only really be going over what's new in this expansion and the things that are different in the new solo mode. So if you want to know how a turn works, or what a gentry card is, or how a tile works, go check out that other video. One of the best additions in Upstairs Downstairs are mini cards to replace the micro cards in the base game, both the VP cards and the theme cards. Though again, we're not going to be using the theme cards in this version of the game, so you can put both sizes of the theme cards back in the box. It also comes with 4 new types of workers: cooks, hall boys, head housemaids, and useful men. I guess now we know where they've been hiding. Hey! And along with these new workers comes a new concept to the game: supplemental service. Required service is still required. If a party needs a footman and a guest needs a valet, the party still needs a footman and the guest still needs a valet, but now you can choose to add another worker to do a little something extra. Adding the cook to an event will not only increase your reputation by 1 taken during the favors step, but it will also allow you to invite guests to that event that have a prestige rating of 1 or 2 higher than your current reputation level. The hall boy can be used 3 ways. If you place the hall boy on a gentry that provides a money favor, increase that favor by 100 pounds. The hall boy may also fill the place of a butler on a gentry card that requires 1, even if your butler is available. Or it may fill the place of a footman on a carriage house service tile, even if there is a footman available. Though if he is used as a replacement for the butler or the footman, he is not going to get you that additional 100 pounds. The head housemaid has 2 uses. Add her to a gentry card or event that has an invite guest favor to screen those guests, essentially changing them to a C2 take 1 favor, placing the one that you don't take at the bottom of its respective deck. If the favor is already C2 take 1, make it a C3 take 1 instead. And the favor on the conservatory, C4 take 2, would become C5 take 2. Or she may stand in for a housemaid on a gentry card that requires 1, even if a housemaid is available. There's also a service upgrade, the housekeeper's room, which, when added to your estate, allows her to fill in for the housemaid on tiles as well, and the lady's maid on both gentry and tiles. The useful man has 5 uses. More like overachiever man. He can go on the private study on a village fair round to increase revenue from the village fair by 200 pounds. So you'll get 200 pounds on those rounds even if you never did the family planning event, though if you did do the family planning event, then you're going to get 500 pounds on those rounds. You can also place him on any tile in the market to decrease the price of that tile by 100 pounds when you buy it, though he cannot make a tile free. Or you can place him on a tile in your estate to lower its prestige rating by 1 for that turn. You can remove him from the game to refresh the market, or you can remove him from the game to find any tile in the bag other than monuments and place it on the 800 pound space of the market. Move all other tiles down 1 space and put the tile that had been in the 300 pound box back in the bag. If you were to discard your useful man to do either of those last 2 effects, you do not then get to acquire a new useful man. You've already used up your useful man allotment for the game. But also, neither of those last 2 effects are relevant in the solo estate challenge, so who cares? It also comes with a new deck of objective cards. Now, these don't replace the ones in the base game, and they don't get mixed in. This is a different, well, it's largely the same, but it's a different set of objectives. If you use only base game stuff, use only the base game objective cards. If you use upstairs, downstairs stuff, use those objectives instead. The cards from the expansion are noted by this little U in the corner. There's also some new rival cards for the standard solo mode, some rival cards to facilitate an extended length standard solo mode game, as well as a new dynamic AI, which makes more intelligent choices when scavenging a tile from the market. The expansion also adds milestones, which are sort of communal goals, but those are also not used in the solo mode, so they can go back in the box too. Set up your family board and your Gentry deck just as you would in the base game. However, when gathering your reputation tokens, you can now choose to play with that 7-8 tile, because you can play this new solo mode either in the standard or extended length. You'll also take no objective cards to start out with. Set the casual and prestige Gentry decks as usual, but when setting the workers in the servants for hire box, it's going to work a little bit differently. Take 1 under butler, 4 footmen, 2 valets, 2 ladies' maids, 1 cook, 1 hall boy, 1 head housemaid, and 1 useful man. If you're using the new Howard family, which starts with a cook, do not set out another cook. Choose one of these servants, other than the under butler, to take and place in your available service area with your starting servants, and place the remaining servants in the servants for hire area. Use the tableau round track board instead of the traditional board, and shuffle and place the VP cards as normal. Isn't that gazebo classic? The columns date all the way back to 1972. No, okay. Look, this is meant to be more of like a supplemental video, just in and out. We don't really have time for the references this time, okay? I'm sorry. This board does have a new event. Round 5 is the Grand Ball. Before you host that round's activity, draw 3 prestige guests, add 1 to your hand, and place the other 2 at the bottom of the deck, then continue your turn as normal. Decide if you're going to play a standard game or the extended length game. The goal in the standard game is to finish by round 12 with a score of at least 132 points. In the extended game, you'll have a goal of round 15 to score at least 188 points. If you take too long, you'll be docked VP, but if you manage to finish early, you'll gain bonus VP. Remove the objective cards that have a group bonus and shuffle and place the objectives in their normal spot. You can still pick up objectives from some VP cards and also using the main library improvement tile, but objective cards are going to be much less impactful in this version of the game. Remove all hybrid tiles. Then, rather than using the bag, you're going to set out 1 copy of each improvement tile and stack them with the rest of their improvement type in increasing order. Then place them in the market in this order: service, sporting, essentials, estate, and prestige. Set the trophy room, wine cellar, marble floor, manor, gargoyles, and sculpture garden in that order, with the trophy room on top in the final space. Set the solo estate challenge market counters in the spaces marked by the price on them. Find the D20, but you don't need a rival family or the rival AI card. But don't worry, you'll still be able to tell your grandchildren that you were keeping it real. I said no. Each turn plays, well, basically exactly the same as the base game. You'll follow the order of play listed on your family board, hosting events, inviting gentry, providing service, and gaining favors. However, when it comes time to buy a tile from the market, you can buy any tile in any stack for the price listed plus or minus that tile's modifier. And you can always buy as many tiles from the market as you can afford. So the Builder's Holiday in this version of the game is going to mean that every tile in the market is discounted by 100 pounds. Though you are now limited on how many of each tile type you can take. In a standard game, you may not exceed 3 tiles of each of the 5 columns for a total of 15 tiles, or 4 tiles for a total of 20 in the extended game, and that is including your starting tiles. If you do want to take another tile for whatever reason and you are full up on that category, you can discard one of the tiles you already have in your estate in order to slot that one in, but that seems wildly inefficient. I don't know why you would do that. When you pass, you have the choice between taking 200 pounds in rent, as in the base game, or hiring servants. When hiring servants, you'll essentially use your butler's room as though that were your action. You'll hire 2 servants from the servants for hire box and place them, along with your butler, into your expended service box and flip the butler's room to the rose side. And remember, when you do pass, refreshing service is the very first thing you do, so your butler or under butler will always be available to do this. So that means you can hire new servants and refill your hand at the same time. That's pretty sweet. Roll the D20 for the AI. The AI will scrap a tile based on this number. First, find the stack with the range that the result fell within. Then, depending on where that number falls in the range, remove a tile from the game. So if it's the first number of the range, you'll scrap the top or first tile of that stack. The middle number, you'll scrap the second tile down. And the last number, you'll scrap the third tile from the top. However, if there aren't enough tiles to do this, then nothing's going to happen. So if you roll an 8, you would scrap the third tile from the top of the essential stack. But if there are only 2 tiles in that pile, nothing gets scrapped instead. And the AI will never scrap a tile if it would prevent you from completing your tableau. So if you still need to get 2 more tiles in your sporting category, the AI will never scrap the last 2 tiles from the market. On a 19 or 20, the AI makes no purchase. Play continues in this way until you've met 2 conditions. You've reached max reputation, so 7 in standard or 9 in extended, and your tableau is complete. A complete tableau is either a full 3 tiles in standard or 4 tiles in extended in each of the 5 improvement categories, and all tiles that can be flipped are flipped. Calculate your score the same way you do in Base Obsession. In a standard game, you're trying to match or beat a score of 132 points by round 12. In the extended game, the score goal is 188 by turn 15. If you don't finish on round 12 or round 15, you'll apply a modifier to your score, and it's a brutal one. If you finish a standard game on round 13, you'll subtract 5 points from your score. On turn 14, you'll subtract 15 points. 5 for the first turn, 10 for the second. Only the first 2 boxes are marked, but this will increase by 5 each subsequent turn that it takes you to finish. So if it takes you all the way to round 17 to finish a standard game, you're going to lose 75 points. 5 plus 10 plus 15 plus 20 plus 25. 75. That's crazy. And you almost certainly didn't win. However, if you manage to finish early, you'll gain that many points. So if you're somehow able to finish a standard game by round 10, you're going to add 15 points to your score. For an easier game, you can use one of the solitaire rival cards to use their base score as the score goal instead. And for a harder game, you can take any monuments that are scrapped by the AI and add that VP to the base score. But that's crazy hard. And that's Obsession 2, Upstairs, Downstairs, Boogaloo, tagline, mind your step. Now get back off my estate. I know I invited you back, but go. The grouchy nerd. What? Oh, I don't know. Cher, Paul Rudd. Well, that wasn't even... That was Ant-Man.